What's up, guys? Okay, hope y'all can hear me. I think I'm gonna invest in a better mic. This one seems to be okay, except when I talk really loud, it just like really, I don't know what the sound is. It just sounds really bad. So I'm gonna talk in a little bit of a lower voice today. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about, I guess, Prochargers versus turbochargers, and this is my experience with V6 Mustangs, so with a 3.7 engine. However, a lot of these things do apply if you have any other vehicle and you have both type of kits available, and not only specifically Prochargers, but also centrifugal blowers, so things like Paxton's or Vortec and all the other brands that are centrifugal. Also a little bit with other like positive displacement blowers, but I don't have any experience with them. So also today I'm in the 5.0. I saw a couple of videos ago of me working on this car. My friend Chris, he left to the Army, so he's in boot camp right now, and I'm just taking care of it. So I drive it a little every now and then. So okay, so let me just get to the point. The turbocharger is going to be better in almost every way. If you're asking this question, there's the answer. I wanted to get that out of the way first and get very straight to the point. There's several reasons why. Now, if you're concerned about it, about going with some sort of boost, there's a few things that most people have in mind: is daily drivability, ease of install, maintenance, the power, which, I mean, that's why you're doing it, and cost. I'd say those are the main things. So let's go with daily drivability. I don't know why, but on the Facebook pages, for some reason, people think that Procharger is better for daily driving. No, they're both great for daily driving. A turbocharger kit, if it's a good kit, it's a quality kit, and like nothing breaks and stuff, it's gonna drive even better than a Procharger. You're gonna get better gas mileage on the Procharger. You're gonna get and you could drive it like a normal vehicle, since when you go into throttle, like you're only hitting boost when the turbo spools up. If you're just driving around town, the turbo is not spooling up. If you're under 2,000 RPM and just chilling, it's not spooling up. Versus with so that's how you get better gas mileage, is versus the Procharger, because the Procharger, it's always spooling. So no matter what. And then also, if you have an electric boost controller, you can control how much boost the turbo is pushing through the wastegate, and how much exhaust it's letting out. And then so that's the first thing. I think both are great. Daily driving, I daily drove my Procharger kit for 1 year. I put 30,000 miles and I raced it daily. So I think both are great if you're looking at it. And then the second thing I guess we were talking about was ease of install. So for some reason, like, I think my turbo kit was easier to install than the Procharger kit. I installed the turbo kit in about 3 hours. It has a lot to do with the design. However, the Procharger kit has better instructions. So if you don't know much about cars and you don't know about where things go and everything like that, pretty much anyone with a basic IQ and hand tools can install the Procharger kit, not because it's easier, but because they have better instructions. They have really good technical manuals and technical documentation. So that's where I would give the Procharger the win, if we're comparing these two, is that not that it's easier to install. My turbo kit is so much easier to install and work on, but I know a lot about cars. So I know a decent amount about cars, not a lot. So it was easy for me to know, like, this is where this goes and that's how that works. But if you're doing this for the first time, it'd be pretty difficult, I think, for someone. Not because, sorry, the camera. Right now, I think I'm gonna go see if I can find something to hold out the camera. That's where I stand about the installation. Also, the other thing to take into consideration, if you're not installing it yourself, a shop is more likely to give you a lower quote on the Procharger to install it, just because it does have that better technical documentation, and it has that better, not a better reputation, it has a bigger reputation of Procharger being a large company that it is. A shop is not as intimidated, versus I would be intimidated if a friend came up to me saying they wanted me to install some turbo kit and I don't know whose turbo kit it is. I would be a little intimidated by it. I would still be able to do it, but that's just something to take into consideration. So the third thing was maintenance. This is where I say the turbo kit wins in every way. So with the Procharger, I had a lot of maintenance that I had to do. I had to go through belt tensioners. I went through belts almost every other month. I always had a spare belt and the stuff to change the belt in my car. And I always had a spare belt, and I was always going through belts. I also had belt alignment issues, so the lower pulley and the upper pulley, like the lower pulley on the crankshaft and the pulley on the Procharger, they weren't aligned, and so I was always trying to shim everything together and trying to get it aligned so that the belt wouldn't pop off and then explode. And literally the belts would explode. When I looked under the hood, like there's insulation on the top of Mustang hoods that was literally like torn into pieces because the belts would just pop and go everywhere. So that was really frustrating because I'd have to pull over to the side of the road and change the belt out and everything. I also had a belt tensioner go out, like I said before, and it was squeaking really loud, and then I had to pay, it was like $300 from Procharger, which was just a pain. And then when you change the oil out on the head unit, it's every 6,000 miles. So I just did it with every oil change. So it was every 5,000 miles. You have to order the Procharger oil, so you have to keep that in stock. And then you can't just like run to the auto parts store and get it like when you do your oil change. You have to think ahead, as well as I had to actually at first pull the blower off to change the oil. Then I got the oil change kit, which is just a steel braided line, and then it has a nut on the bottom to seal it, and then you could just undo it like that. But the first few times I changed the oil, I literally had to take the head unit off. So unless you pay that $100 or make your own like steel braided oil change line kit, it's a real pain to do that maintenance. And if you don't have like a garage and stuff like that, that is kind of a pain to do with like out in the sun and everything. So I know it sounds like I'm complaining. I still love the Procharger kit. I had so much fun with it. And then I guess the last thing is cost. This is where I'd say maybe 60% of the time the Procharger wins. However, it just depends on how you option everything out. With my turbo kit, I straight traded for a used Procharger kit for my brand new LPF turbo kit with an oilless turbo, like a super expensive turbo and everything like that. So it just depends. Used, I think they probably go about the same price, but also if you're getting like a twin turbo kit or something like that, obviously the price is gonna like double almost because you're buying two turbos. So it just depends on the cost. I think you could buy the cheapest turbo kit and it would actually be under what the most expensive Procharger kit is, and even the base Procharger kit is. But if you option out to the very max, best turbo, best everything, it will be more expensive than the Procharger. There's power. That was the other thing, was with power, the turbo wins all the way. You're probably seeing this on every post when someone asks this question. People are saying they have parasitic loss. What parasitic loss is it's literally like your crankshaft is turning the supercharger. Instead of that power going directly to the drive shaft and then to your rear axle and turning the wheels, some of that power is getting taken away to turn the blower. So your car is losing some power to the wheels because it's wasting it on turning that blower. So that's what I would say. Power wise, that really sucks. And then if you're talking about like maximum amount of power, the turbo is way better because you have that electric boost controller. You don't have to worry about things like belt slip and stuff. Like with the Procharger, I ended up having a lot of belt slip issues, and because of that I had to like always go through and find a smaller belt or do a different pulley, things like that. So that's my opinion. I thought both were great. I guess the only other thing that I had that was a real big issue, which most people wouldn't have this problem with the Procharger kit, was I thought I was having belt alignment issues at one point again after I got it really dialed in. But what happened was I pulleyed down, and on the 3.7s, it's a pretty bad design. Two of the spacers that hold the bracket together onto the engine bracket, they go right where the belt goes through, so you have to get rid of those, and so there will only be 3 holding on the Procharger bracket to the engine bracket, and or else the belt touches them and you can't run a smaller pulley. So I got rid of those, and then we were on the dyno and we were wondering why the belts kept exploding, and this, like, I think it's like an inch thick plate was bending. And so we ended up, Justin at LPF ended up taking just on the drill press and drilling in new holes and tapping it and stuff like that. But that was just something that's like a real pain to have to drill and tap holes and then put new spacers in. I don't know why they designed the kit that way. It seemed pretty bad if you were wanting to like go up and turn more boost through. So that was my experience. I still had tons of fun. I put 30,000 miles on it. It was reliable. I never really was broken down. So I never had any issues. But with the turbo kit, I just don't have that. I don't have to worry about belt alignment issues. I don't have to worry about some bracket bending. My kit, I've never had issues with like boost leaks. So I love it. And you still have boost leaks with the Procharger too, if you did have that issue. So that's my opinion. I'd say both are great. I'd say that I'm definitely biased towards the turbo. I've had experience with both, and yeah, that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, just let me know. So I guess I would just add a little bit of like point of view driving on this car. I'm not a huge fan of the exhaust note, but it's still better than my car. So I just, yeah. So. Yeah, it has. So this one has the track apps just like my car, so you could do the accelerometer and see like how many G's you're pulling. So it's pretty neat.